Walmart's freezer aisle has a gap in it this August, right where a product sat for 80 years. Coca-Cola pulled Minute Maid frozen juice concentrate out of the United States and Canada this year, and what's left on that shelf is what's left. That's one. The chip wall has a longer casualty list than anything else in the store, and one of these 9 isn't a flavor being cut at all. It's more than 1,000 products changing quietly inside packages that look identical. Most shoppers won't catch it until the box comes home a different color. Freezer aisle first. Minute Maid frozen concentrate is the only item on this whole list that isn't a rumor. Coca-Cola put it in writing back in February. The frozen line is finished in the US and Canada, wound down through the first quarter, and the company's stated reason was that people have shifted to ready to drink. 80 years of a product that lived in the back corner of basically every freezer in America. And it ends because we stopped wanting to open a can and stir. Here's the part that matters for you. There's no recall. There's no cutoff date, no sign, no announcement at the store level. Remaining inventory just sells through. Whatever cans are sitting in that freezer door are the last ones your store is getting. And once they're gone, the space fills in and nobody mentions it again. So look at the tag. Sell-through pricing is uneven right now. Some stores are still ringing it at the normal shelf price. Others have started clearing it out, and that's entirely down to how much backstock the individual store is sitting on. If concentrate is your thing, you've got a decision to make this month, not later. Switch to the Minute Maid ready-to-drink cartons in the refrigerated case. Or buy the freezer out. Compare the 2 per ounce at the tag before you do either, because they're a different product wearing the same name. Number 2 is the cereal aisle, and General Mills confirmed this one on the 17th of June. 3 cereals discontinued. Chocolate peanut butter Cheerios is one of them. Honey Nut Cheerios, Medley Crunch is another. The company didn't explain why, which is normal. They almost never do, and instead pivoted straight to talking about new launches like Cheerios Oat Crunch Chocolate. They did give one thing back, though. Frosted Lemon Cheerios is returning this summer for a limited run, brought back on demand. Remember that, because it comes up again in about 4 minutes, and it doesn't end the way you'd expect. Now here's the useful part. And honestly, this might be the single most practical minute of this video. Your cereal being missing is weak evidence. General Mills tells shoppers to use its online product locator before assuming anything, because regional distribution gaps look absolutely identical to a discontinuation from where you're standing. Empty shelf tag, no product, gaps filled in around it. That's a supply hiccup as often as it's a funeral. Check the locator first, then panic, because the chip wall is where the actual body count is, and one item on it came back from the dead last year before getting cut all over again. Stop 3, and I want to be straight with you about where this comes from. PepsiCo Foods has not put out a press release on any of these. The list came from snack blogger Zach Chiampa and self-identified employees, and food outlets, including Sporked, corroborated a lot of it. Reported, not announced. Treated accordingly. Lay's takes the worst of it. Sweet and spicy honey is out. Lightly salted barbecue out. Baked salt and vinegar, the big bags, out. All dressed is going too, which is the one that actually stings, because that flavor had a genuinely obsessive following for a chip nobody else was making. Lay's Honey BBQ Poppables, gone. Doritos Dinamita Sticks, gone. Sun Chips Chili Lime. Ruffles Lime and Jalapeno. Tostitos Black Bean and Garlic. Smartfood Flamin' Hot White Cheddar. That's 10 flavors before we've even left one wall. And number 4 is where it gets ridiculous, because Cheetos Cheese Pizza Puffs are on the chopping block. Read that again. Those came back in 2025 after years of people begging for them. They were announced as part of the permanent lineup. Permanent. And now they're reportedly being cut to make room for Cheetos Flamin' Hot Dill Pickle Puffs. So, the lesson from Frosted Lemon Cheerios and the Pizza Puffs together is that coming back is not the same as staying. A revival is a trial run with better marketing. If a product you love returns, buy it like it's leaving, because apparently it is. Flamin' Hot Asteroids are out too. Smartfood movie theater butter is out, and so is the brown butter and sea salt kettle corn. Popcorners. Sweet chili is confirmed cut at least in the large bag. Rolled gold cheddar, done. Fritos queso flavor twists, done. Chester's is getting absolutely dismantled. Cheddar jalapeno popcorn, Carolina-style BBQ fries, and ranch fries all at once. 3 products. That's not a trim. That's the brand getting walked out of the building. There's real machinery behind this, by the way. PepsiCo has been closing plants. Rancho Cucamonga in California, the birthplace of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, was set to close on the 6th of June. The Liberty, New York plant that made popcorners shut earlier. Product cuts don't happen in a vacuum. They happen when the line that makes them stops running. 5 is short, and it's the sneakiest one on the list. Tostitos nacho cheese dip is reportedly getting cut, but only the 16-ounce jar. Fritos hot bean dip, only the small can. Tostitos Cantina Thin N crispy chips are going entirely. Sit with the jar thing for a second. The product isn't leaving. The size is. You'll walk down that aisle, see Tostitos nacho cheese dip sitting there exactly where it's always been, and never register that the one you actually buy stopped existing. That's a quieter disappearance than an empty shelf, and it's the version most people fall for. Buy the size that's going, or make peace with the size that's staying. Right, number 6, and I'm changing gears completely. Nothing in this next stretch leaves the shelf, not one product. Instead, the recipe leaves the box, and the good news is you can see it on the label before you buy. Walmart is stripping synthetic dyes and 30 other ingredients out of its own brands. Great Value, Marketside, Freshness Guaranteed, and to some extent, bettergoods. FD&C Red 40, Yellow 5, Blue 1, all out. The company named cereals, snacks, sports drinks, and dressings as categories getting reworked. And Great Value is not a small target here. It's the largest consumer packaged goods brand in the country, in something like 90% of American households. Which means if you buy Great Value at all, something in your pantry is getting rewritten. Whether the natural dye version looks or tastes the same is genuinely unknown until it shows up. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. What I can tell you is that the ingredient panel will tell you exactly which version you're holding. Look for the FD&C line. And if you're attached to a specific Great Value cereal or drink mix the way it exists right now, this is your window. 7 is the bakery and deli, and it's where you'll actually see it happen. Walmart specifically flagged Marketside cakes for reformulation. Frosting and icing are almost entirely where synthetic color earns its money. So that's the shelf where a recipe change becomes visible from 6 feet away. Freshness. Guaranteed prepared foods are in scope too. And the removal list goes past color into things like potassium nitrate, potassium nitrite, and potassium bisulfite, preservatives used in processed meats, plus titanium dioxide, azotocarbonamide, and parabens. Realistically, here's how this lands for a normal person. You buy the same birthday cake in October that you bought in June, and it's a slightly different shade of blue, and a 7-year-old notices before you do. That's the whole drama. It's small. It's also going to happen 1,000 times over without a single announcement. Speaking of things that happen without announcements, there's a Great Value product that's already gone, and Walmart quietly put a near copy in its place under a different label. Number 8, the graveyard. Great value sous vide egg bites are no longer around. Oh, but Marketside now carries bacon and cheddar egg bites that look awfully close to the same idea. Different packaging, and nobody's confirmed they're the same formula, so I won't tell you they are. What I will tell you is that discontinued sometimes just means moved and relabeled. And if you gave up on something, check one shelf over before you mourn it. Great value burnin' hot potato chips got no such mercy. Those are gone. People ran an actual online petition to bring them back, and it went nowhere. No clean replacement either, which is the worst version of this. A flavor that existed at that price and now simply doesn't. And then there's great value pineapple dessert pizza, which came in s'mores and cinnamon apple as well, and lasted about as long as you'd expect a pineapple dessert pizza to last. Genuinely sorry to anyone who loved it. You were outvoted decisively, which brings back the cereal aisle rule, and it applies to every single item I've named today. Your empty shelf is not proof. Locators, app listings, and a second store are all better evidence than a gap. If this saved you a wasted trip, a like genuinely helps. Now the big one, number 9, the thing I teased at the top. More than 1,000 products are being reformulated and tested, with the whole thing due to be finished by January 2027. And here's the twist, which is that it's less dramatic than it sounds and more specific. Walmart says roughly 90% of its store brand food is already free of artificial colors. So this enormous sounding overhaul is really the last slice, the stubborn 10% where the dye was doing structural work in the product, which is exactly why it'll happen silently. There's no announcement worth making about finishing something you're mostly done with. There's a clock behind it too. The FDA's red dye number 3 compliance date lands on the 15th of January 2027. Kraft Heinz, General Mills, Conagra, and others have their own timelines running. Sam's Club is doing the same thing with Members Mark. So practically tonight, read the FD&C line on anything you're loyal to. Put 2 boxes of the same product side by side on the shelf. Different production runs are already coexisting. And look at the panels, not the front. That's how you catch it before it's gone. Quick handful before I let you go. Great value 48-ounce ice cream was rolled back to $2.50 through July across a stack of flavors. And rollback pricing is exactly where old formulations get flushed out. So check the panel. Marketside large cage-free brown eggs were down to $2.66 for a 12-pack. Grab frosted lemon Cheerios now, because limited means limited, and we've established what happens to comeback products. If you're a Tostitos nacho cheese dip person, buy the 16-ounce jar this week. If you're a Minute Maid concentrate person, the freezer door is the whole conversation. And if you miss the old great value egg bites, the Marketside ones are worth one try before you decide. That's the 9. 2 confirmed, several reported, and 1 enormous quiet one nobody's putting on a sign. If it were me, I'd walk to the freezer aisle first and figure out the concentrate question tonight, because that one has a hard ending and the others don't. Thanks for hanging out. Go check your labels.